What is up, my toasty suckers gaming here, and welcome back to a brand new video on the internet. So I thought today, um, I thought I would make a funny moments, right? And I was about to start editing it, and then I decided, you know what? Let me look how the new Mr. Noobtubegamer is doing, and he decided that he's gonna just post a video. So today, I've decided that we're just gonna come back to the funny moments, and let's just go ahead and start talking about Mr. NoobTube Gaming here and his opinion of the Alienware Alpha.
How's it going, everybody? This is Mr. Noobtubegamer, and I am back with another video.
God, another one? Jesus, why can't you be like one and done?
And this is going to be my thoughts on this whole debate that's going on about whether or not the Alienware Alpha is a PC or a console. I didn't know this was even a debate.
I didn't know this was a debate either. It always seemed to me like the Alpha was more of a console to PC. It never seemed to me as it was its own. Like, I wouldn't classify it as a console, but I would more classify it as a PC that was with console specs that could outdo a console in almost all situations.
That sounds absurd to me. I only knew about this because apparently there was a debate between Fringy and this Grim individual. They had a 2-hour debate on whether or not the Alienware Alpha is a console or a PC. Of course, Fringy had to argue that the Alpha was a PC.
Well, yeah, because he's actually pretty smart. By the way, link in the description to his channel and the debate.
And it wasn't a console. The Alienware Alpha is not a console. Interesting. So, that's what I'm going to talk about in this video because few people have asked me about what I think about that.
Who would come to you for an opinion? Anyone that knows you already knows that you're a liar and you've spit out so much bullshit in the past that it's unreal. And I mean, like anyone that would ever come up and ask you just doesn't know who you are. And if you're watching this video now and you don't know who Mr. Noob Gamer is, look in the description for the Rags video that he made, which, yeah, it will be in the description, by the way. Just look at that video and just watch that, and you can come back or not. It's up to you.
About the whole Alienware Alpha thing. Few people have asked me about the Alpha, and I feel like I'm going to just talk about the whole Alienware Alpha thing in general. But my main focus is going to be about whether or not the Alienware Alpha is a PC or a console. And of course, I think this is a common sense.
Do you even know what common sense means? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if you didn't. Because, I mean, have you seen your videos? Most of them don't have any kind of sense to them.
But the Alienware Alpha is indeed a console. Now, I didn't see all 2 hours because I don't think anybody can really be able to withstand themselves watching a 2-hour debate about whether or not a certain piece of technology is a PC or a console.
I couldn't watch your debate that you did with Fringy for an hour and 30 minutes, I think it was, almost 40. I couldn't watch that even if I tried, because we all knew going into the debate you were gonna get destroyed. You were just totally fucked, dude. Everyone knew that. Now, with this one, it could be interesting. I mean, I might actually go and watch this debate now because I think it'll be very interesting to see, like why people might think this is a console for maybe someone who's actually a little bit more intelligent than you are.
Like, there's more substance in the debate that I had with Fringy, I believe, than
And you believe wrong.
that debate that Fringy had about the Alienware Alpha. I don't really think this is a debate-worthy topic.
Well, mainly a debate is just two people having an opinion against each other. So yeah, this is a very debate-worthy topic because you could bring up the fact that, hey, an Alienware Alpha specs aren't that higher than an Xbox One. But they do have all the features of a PC that makes them great, like being able to surf Google and using Steam and everything in a PC. Like you have all these benefits from it. So yeah, this could be a really good debate.
Whether you agree or disagree with me, I don't think this specific topic is debate-worthy. It's worth debating 2 hours about, because that's just ridiculous.
You're ridiculous.
But I'm going to talk about in this video why it makes perfect sense to label the Alienware Alpha as a console. So, I'm going to get into my overall thoughts on the Alienware Alpha later in the video, but I'm just going to quickly address my position. okay, and defend it with points. So the Alienware Alpha is a console because, well, first of all, Dell themselves call it a console. Go on Dell's website. I'll put the link in the description, and it says Alienware consoles.
He's right. It does say it's console, but here's the but here is that I don't think it's labeled as a console. I think it's more marketed as a console. And Dell did push hard for a market as a console. I remember the only reason I heard about it is because people were saying that yeah, this was like the hybrid between consoles and because I was in the market for building my first PC. So yeah, I was actually interested in the Alienware Alpha, which guess what? I do own an Alienware Alpha, and I use it more as a PC. I would never say my Alpha is a console because I don't use the console mode in it because it's useless, like most consoles. But you're right. I mean, I don't think though that this was meant as a label. Again, like I said, I think it's more meant for a marketing standpoint because a console will probably sell more than a PC will. Only because, hey, I mean, it sounds easier. I mean, most people would be like, "Oh, it's a console, then I could just play it from my couch." And you can. This has HDMI and only HDMI, which is one of my biggest gripes with it, because you can't plug in a mic or anything like that. So I have to use a USB mic, but that's just me, rambling. But it's still, I don't think it's a label. I think it's more of a marketing standpoint.
Dell themselves, the people who are in charge of Alienware, they're the parent company of Alienware. They're the ones that call the Alienware Alpha a console. So should we trust the opinion of people who YouTubers on the internet that are debating about whether or not a system is a whether or not this piece of technology is a console or a PC, or should we just look at the people who make it? What do they think? And they say it's a console.
Aren't you doing exactly what you said you shouldn't do, which is listen to YouTubers?
So that alone should just end this entire debate. But without that, I can still prove that the Alienware Alpha is a console.
Can you, though?
Because during that debate that Fringy had, and I'll leave the link to that debate too, in case there are people that didn't watch the debate or are not familiar with it. But I'll leave the link to both of those in the description. I'll be sure to do that. And if I forget, you guys better tell me in the comment section if I don't leave a link to that, uh, because it's important for contextual purposes. But so I'm going to prove why the Alienware Alpha is a console, because during the debate, Fringy's main argument as to why the Alienware Alpha is not a console is because it could do pretty much everything that a PC can do. So that means it's a PC and it's not a console.
Yeah, because it does everything that a console can't. It can run Steam, it can play Arma 3, it can play XCOM 2 before you came out on consoles. It can do so much more than what a console can do, but yet you're acting like it's not. Like you're acting like it's less than it, and that's retarded. Because the Alienware Alpha is a full-blown PC. It might not be high-end, it might not be mid-tier, but it's a starter. And you know what? I think it's a pretty decent starter. I mean, I'm now looking forward to building my first PC, and I'm getting the money for it. But yeah, it's a good starter. I've been using this for 2 years now, I think, and haven't had any issues with it. I've only upgraded the RAM once because I wanted to, because I wanted that extra gigabyte. Can you upgrade your Xbox One or your PS4s? Oh, that's right, you can't because you don't have that decision. Do you pay for your internet access? Oh, yeah, that's right, you do. And you pay for your internet? Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't have to deal with paying an online service that I'm already paying for or my family's paying for. Yeah, I don't need to worry about that. But you do have to worry about paying $60 or whatever the price is now for PS4 because I think they upped it. Source link in the description again. But you just don't understand. Benefit for a PC is way more. You pay $500 for the Alienware Alpha. You're right, it may not be the greatest specs of all time, but it's better than a console already because I don't have to pay that extra $60 a year to play an online service that you already pay for.
That's very, very, very interesting. Because, let's say hypothetically, the PS4 and the Xbox One, or just, Sony's next console, the PlayStation 5, or then whatever the next Xbox is called, if there even is an Xbox, because Microsoft is so fucking stupid. They're putting all their exclusives on PC, and there's literally no reason to buy an Xbox now.
You know what? I'm just gonna, I don't even know what to say to this because I'm hoping that he just doesn't know what he's talking about because I hope he realizes that PlayStation is doing the exact same thing. Let's go to the PlayStation Now store. Let's just go over there right now. Okay, so now that we're at the PlayStation Now store, let's look at PC. Let's look at what this is right here. PS Now is the subscription service that lets you stream hundreds of PS3 games to your PS4 and Windows PC. Now, if you do not understand what this means, Mr. The Console King, I think I just threw up my mouth. But that's not the point. If you don't understand what this means I can stream my the PS3 games, the PS4 games, to my PC. Any exclusive like Journey, Last of Us, I can play on my PC. Uncharted, I can play on my PC. So obviously, you don't know what you're talking about.
Because the exclusives are not on the PC. I mean, don't get me wrong, consoles are better than PC, but it kind of gives Sony a huge edge over Microsoft to the point where Microsoft is kind of like, you know, becoming irrelevant in terms of their Xbox brand.
I wonder how he's gonna react to learning about PlayStation Now and how Xbox or Microsoft and Sony are doing the exact same things, except Sony's a total shit company.
But that's a whole other debate. I keep talking about why it's a horrible idea for Microsoft to do that. That's not really what this video is about. But the point I'm trying to make is that let's say the next generation of consoles, PlayStation 5 is an open platform, meaning that you can go on, you can use Windows, you can use all these other things that you could do on PC.
I don't see why Microsoft would do that considering Windows 7 is Microsoft's property and giving Sony that kind of advantage in a console war is kind of crappy for their own company. So it doesn't make a lot of sense why they would do it.
Would people argue that it's a PC and say it's not a console because it's more open of a platform? That's a fucking stupid argument to make. Because I feel the main definition of a console, what people unanimously agree, PC gamers and console gamers alike always say, a console is a conventional PC.
I don't think that's what a console is. I mean, a console is a ease of access PC. It's so easy that you spend some little bit, less money on it, and you get not much in return. You get what you pay for. You get low in specs, low accuracy. Um, you have to pay for online every month or every year, depending on how you want to do it. And that's extra money you're paying on top of a console that you're already paying for with, online subscriptions, paying for games. So let's say you buy a game, but you want to buy a whole year online too. That's 120 bucks, considering that the game might be $60. That's kind of crazy pricing, if you ask me.
That's what everyone agrees that a console is. It's a conventional PC. How is the Alienware Alpha not a conventional PC? It has certain parts that are already pre-built into the machine. Yes, you can upgrade it,
What was the point of even mentioning that if you're just gonna shoot your own thing down? You were like, oh yeah, well, the PC, the Alienware Alpha is just, it's not upgradable. And then, like, legitimately 2 seconds later, you're like, well, it is kind of upgradable. Or it is upgradable. You just literally shot yourself in the foot, dude.
but that's irrelevant because it comes with a certain hardware, and you could choose between the different pieces of hardware that you can choose from.
Does that mean a pre-built a console? I mean, because you're getting certain parts, even though you can upgrade the entire system and run it as a PC. So does that mean that the pre-built PC that you buy is not actually a PC, it's actually a console? Because Mr. NoobTube, or sorry, the console king said so.
Just because it's more customizable doesn't mean it's not a console. I don't know why. Like, I understand consoles are synonymous with less freedom even though of that's a bit of a stretch.
What? You have no freedom. Can you upgrade your console? No. Can you use a mouse and keyboard? No. Can you do anything that's similar to a console or to a PC? You can Google search, and that's barely. You could Google search on Microsoft. I don't know if you can on Sony. I'm assuming you can. But what? Like, you're not making sense. You have no freedom. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
And that's sort of misleading to say that consoles have less freedom. But let's just say for argumental purposes that yes, consoles have less freedom. Let's say that. Okay? I understand that consoles are synonymous with having less freedom and you having less options.
I'm sorry. What other choice do you have? You either choose Microsoft or Sony or Nintendo if you want. But what's the third choice here? A third party company that gives you a cheap console that no one else has except you? You can't do that. Because, well, I mean, I guess you could, but what would you play on? You can't play with your friends. You have no benefits there. So why would you pick that? I mean, unless you're just broke, and then, okay, yeah, maybe, but you don't have a choice. You only have three different choices, and that's just picking the console. You can't go out and say, hey, Sony, I'm going to buy a better PlayStation 4 because I have choices, because you don't. You might be able to buy a better hardware one, but you're paying how much money for a whole new console?
But if a console has more options, then it's still a console. Because the point of a console is being a conventional PC. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why this is a debate. Just because you can run Windows and you could do pretty much everything you could do on a PC on the Alienware Alpha, how does that make the Alienware Alpha a PC and it's not a console?
God, I need alcohol. I swear. I'm only 15. I'm about to have an alcohol problem because of this console king guy. Fucking, I'm tired of this. Like, you have a tendency, like Rex says, to just shoot yourself in the foot. I mean, seriously, how are you going to be like, oh, well, an Alienware Alpha is not a PC, but it has everything to do with a PC? You can Google Steam on it, everything you want to do on a PC, you can do it on the Alpha, but it's not a PC.
Literally, the point. Dell themselves label the Alienware Alpha as a console. But the fact that the Alienware Alpha goes into the TV and is meant to be plugged into the TV like a console does.
I hope you realize that you can plug a PC into a TV, like any PC most of the time. Most PCs have an HDMI port in it.
That alone should also make it a console. So I've already given two reasons why it should be a console, but I'll give more in case people aren't convinced.
No one is convinced by you.
So I think the argument that just because it can do all the features that a PC can do means that it's a PC kind of falls flat. And I'll give a few examples of that. Okay. So the Sega Dreamcast. The Sega Dreamcast actually is, well, at least it was, Windows compatible. You were able to run Windows on the Sega Dreamcast. You were also able to do a whole bunch of other things on the Dreamcast. And you were capable of doing other things. So let's say someone jailbroke a system, right? If they jailbreak it, does that mean that they turn the system into a PC? Like if let's say if the PS4 is jailbroken to have more features and do more things, that means that it's a PC now because someone jailbroke into it? No, it's still a console at heart.
Well, depends on how they jailbreak it. If they jailbreak it to where they can run a Windows or a computer operating system, then yeah, I would consider that a PC. I mean, something like Linux, which the PS3 could do, yeah, then that's a PC because you have all the features of a PC, except it's now with a controller or with a console. So yeah, it is a PC.
And that's the same thing with the Dreamcast. Just because it could run Windows and do all the other things that Fringy argued,
Actually, the Dreamcast ran a optimized version of Windows called Windows CE, which is a partial version of Windows, not the full version of Windows. And yes, I did have to research that.
that the Alienware Alpha can do, so that means it's a PC. No, it's still a console. Same with the Sega Dreamcast. And I'll give another example too, in case you're not convinced about that example. Okay, so again, the argument that the Alienware Alpha is a PC because it can do almost pretty much everything a PC can do
No, it does everything a PC can do. It does not do pretty much everything a PC can do. It does what a PC can do.
kind of falls flat again, because by that logic, the Sega Nomad is a home console. And if you don't know what the Sega Nomad is, the Sega Nomad was basically a handheld that can run Sega Genesis games. It was basically a portable Sega Genesis. It was, I guess you could call it the successor to the Sega Game Gear, even though it really was just a Genesis that can run, that's a handheld console. So, by that logic, because the Sega Nomad can do everything that the Genesis can, means that the Nomad's a Genesis. But it's not. It's a Sega Nomad. And it's a handheld, and it's not a home console. It would be like, well, it could do everything the home console does. That means it's a home console. No, it's a handheld. You know what I mean? So that logic automatically falls flat.
So then a laptop is what exactly? Because a laptop is basically a handheld PC. You carry that thing around wherever you want to go, where you might want to play games or surf the web or do work. They're not really known for playing games, but still. So what is a laptop to you? Because apparently a handheld console is not the same thing as a handheld console. What's the Nintendo Switch to you? Do you think that's just like a big tablet? Or what? Because you can play it at home. So like I'm more baffled that you can think these things without like second guessing yourself here. Like, do you not think before you speak?
It's a stupid point to make. And just because it can do more than the traditional consoles can do, doesn't mean it's not a console. It's just a stupid thing to say. And I don't understand where that logic comes from at all. I don't. Personally, I don't really like the Alienware Alpha because
Because I'm a fanboy and I really like Sony, and I mean really Sony, I'll just suck their dicks for 8 years, and really I don't understand why I would switch over from that. Because Sony's like the best console, and anyone that thinks against it is just anti-facts, bruh.
it's pretty pricey. It's more expensive than the PS4 and Xbox One.
Well, yeah, because guess what? It's got better hardware than it.
And also, like, to get the version that's like close to the price of the PS4 and Xbox One, it has an i3 processor,
Do you even know what an i3 processor is? Because I feel like you're just pulling words out of your ass. Just so you just Googled up Alienware processor or Alienware Alpha processor, and you were like, well, it's not made by Sony, so I guess it's trash.
which is just crazy. Like, Alienware is not a great company. I'm not a fan of their products. I had one of their products and it was
Oh, really? Which one?
horrible. And because of that, I'm not really comfortable ever buying anything Alienware ever again.
I have a hard time believing that you would buy anything that's not from Sony.
So that's why I'm kind of like, I don't really want to buy this Alpha console.
Well, then don't buy it. Problem solved.
And I just feel like I would just get a regular PC if I really wanted to play PC games on a console. I would just play PC games on a PC. And that's another point. Why does the Alpha exist? Why do these Steam boxes exist if it's just a PC and it's not a console? When it's trying to cater to console gamers.
Well, it's because they want to expand the market and maybe allow an easier way for some of the customers to, get into PC gaming because it's cheaper and most people that join normally don't leave because it has so many more benefits than a console.
You know what I mean? So this whole argument is so fucking stupid. You know, if you're trying to argue about whether or not PC gaming is better than console gaming, that's one thing. I wouldn't really see that as a stupid debate to have because it's your opinion, it's your right to believe whether or not a certain platform is better than another. And this goes to anything PlayStation, Xbox, even Nintendo, which I don't know how anyone can say Nintendo is better than any other company. But uh,
How could you support a company that tried to copyright the word let's play? That is the scummiest shit a company could do besides just fucking you in the ass or like Microsoft's fuck up at E3 in 2013.
My point still stands. Everything I've said in this video is pretty spot on,
This video was not at all spot on. It wasn't even close to that.
and it's pretty hard to counter. I don't think you can counter it actually.
Well, I did, and it was pretty easy to be honest.
But I think the reason why the PC gamers are upset when people call the Alienware Alpha as a console, because it kind of like destroys all the objective benefits that PCs have, because literally the Alpha has all those benefits. So that means that if the Alpha is a console, then the PC gamers have no argument anymore, and they automatically lose. So I think that's why PC gamers are so triggered and frustrated whenever someone says that the Alpha is a console, because then they realize that, oh shit, we have no argument at all.
Saying we have no argument at all is pretty stupid to be honest, because we have plenty of arguments. Even if let's say the Alpha is a console and it has all the objective benefits of a PC, that would make it a PC normally. I mean, if a console, I mean, I consider a PS3 a PC if you jailbreak it and put, or not even jailbreak, if you just put Linux on it and it runs Linux as a PC because it's running an operating system with Linux and you get the benefits of having Linux on a PS3. Now, Mr. Noob2Gamer here, this video is pretty much over by the way, so if you're just gonna see me ranting for a minute. Um, Mr. Noob2Gamer here has gone a little bit insane after posting this video, so I figured we would go look at this insanity together and you would see my live reaction of it for a minute and then we'll end the video. So let's go ahead and let's watch this crazy guy. I mean Mr. Noob2Gamer. Okay, so here's the first sign that he's gone a little insane. Mr. Noob2Gamer here has changed his name to the Console King. And now, let's just go ahead and click on his channel. Nope, I don't feel like listening to him. Just about. There you go. He's also changed his subscription to I am the console king, and my subjects are all console gamers across the world. PC gamers are enemies of the crown. With one, two, three, four, five, six, I think. My eyes might be fucking up, but it's six exclamation marks, I'm pretty sure. And he's released this video saying, bow down to the console king. Now, let's just watch this video for a second.
Mark this day on your calendars, January 27th, 2017. That will always be known as the single most important day in the history of the gaming community. Why? Because I, Mr. Noobtubegamer, has ascended to royalty. I
Now, if that's not crazy to you. Oh, look at these dislikes too. He is insane now, and it's kind of funny, and I kind of makes me just want to sit here and watch his videos just to see how crazy he gets. Now, before I end this video, figured I would show you the dislikes on this, and let's see if I can find his Mr. Noob2Gamer here. Let's look it up real quick. Mr. Console King. I spell console. Fucking, I don't feel like looking it up. Basically, he said something along the lines of, anyone that disagrees with this video is anti-fax. And this is one of the reasons I brought this up in the video, saying that, hey, he's saying basically anyone that disagrees with him is anti-fax, which is completely wrong and kind of crazy. But, he can do whatever he wants. He's the console king. Everyone needs to bow down, and just bow down to him. I mean, he's goddamn, he's just he's top 10. He's just top tier right there. So I'm gonna end the video here because I think this has gone on long enough. And the next video you'll get is a funny moments from Siege. So as always, guys, stay soggy, my toasties.